We start out on this new road. No turning back. But we have our ancestors with us. We're gonna continue to dance with them. Dreaming them. Calling them. Being them. We are becoming what we were.
It is part of that Mayan prophecies.
7 triangles of light.
Keep walking. You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapku.
People who say that the gods made them from corn. They planned their lives according to the heavens. Well-versed in astronomy, using a sophisticated mathematics, they calculated the movements of the night sky thousands of years into the past and thousands of years into the future. They knew that the universe moved in cycles. Their lives were ruled by the rhythms of the natural world, planting and harvesting, birth and death, just as the great tree of life emerges from the earth.
Always they're connected. Science and religion.
In dreams, we learn from the Maya gods when to plant and when to harvest, when to set the fire, and when to do the corn ceremony.
What we're digging up, what we're coming up with is part of our history. And the men that lived here are some of the greatest men we've ever had. And it's a fact that we're getting to know more and more and more about the life of these people.
They still maintain their customs, they still maintain their ways of organizing their societies. And it's very exciting to see how much of the ancient Maya way of life is still alive as well.
Because American history does not begin in 1492 with Columbus. It begins in 200 BC with the first Maya king who wrote his name on a stone. What is happening now is the people who made these places, people like Yashpak or Bird Jaguar or Pakal, are getting back their voices. They are becoming real to us and speaking to the people of the 20th century about who built this place and why and what they felt and what they thought about the world. These are not anonymous people anymore.
You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapku.
Yo, yo, yo. LA natives.
Yo, yo, yo.
We are back on Wednesday. Warrior Think Tank. So much to talk about, so much to announce. But I just wanted to say hi to the community out there that supports LA natives and has shown so much support since the release of this flyer, right, Armando?
Man, I haven't been able to have time to upload the Natani Means podcast on Spotify, which I will do tonight. I just been in a whirlwind trying to promote this event and book this talent coming up June 25th.
At the Catch One.
Yes.
Los Angeles. That's a premier venue. We just did the walkthrough. I know Armando said that he would post that so everyone could see kind of like what we're trying to build. And
we'll post the video tonight too.
And keep in mind, keep an open mind for this event, because this event's going to be diverse, as diverse as we can make it. Although it has a Native American theme and we are of Native descent and we represent that every single day, every single minute, every single second. It's welcome for everyone. I hope everyone shows up. I hope I hope the native Los Angeles show up and Angelinos show up and support this great new movement, a social conscious movement that, reflects more than just being cool, right?
Well, June 25th is a very important day, right, Zero? It's funny how we just coincidentally stumbled upon that day at the Catch One.
Well, you've been talking about like when I'm gonna release, global pandemic, and I while I was thinking when you asked me that, I was like, June 25th. That would be like, if we're in this time of the year, that's the time I would pick. June 25th, and because I knew that it was the Battle of Bighorn, a commemoration of the Battle of Bighorn, where the elders had the vision that we would defeat the U.S. Army, and that's what happened. And that's probably the only one they're ever going to write about. I'm sure there were many, many more. I'm sure there was many, many more. But that's the one they got, wrote about. And that's the one we're going to start our movement with. We're going to channel all those great heroes who fought on that day, who had children, and who had grandchildren, and who had grandchildren, and who are alive today. And maybe that's the people that are showing up for that event. Maybe I'm a descendant of somebody from that era, because that story still lives in us and we need to highlight it. So that's why I picked June 25th. And magically, the Catch One calls Armando and says, "Can you fill this date?"
Yo, we might be taking this to Reno, guys. Shout out to Tattoo, shout out to Brandon.
Right on, Brandon.
We're trying to develop this scene hard in LA to potentially take it to the road.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. This is
I personally don't know of any night indigenous hip hop scene like how we're going to be providing at the Catch One. I don't know of any promoters that do that. I'm fully aware of the outdoor organization where you have a whole bunch of canopies and great vendors and more of a cultural event where it's balanced between culture and music. This event's a little different, Zero. We're actually highlighting the artists and providing better sound and better lighting.
And also the audio stimulation is going to be different too, because we're not just going to put DJs. We have to create the scene. So,
and you know that in the coffin,
ideas that we have.
And you know that in the coffin, it's audio stimulation, right? As an artist, what's the whole goal, right?
Yeah.
Is to stimulate the fan.
Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to provide the whole entire night. Now, you also have a market of unique items. Those markets are going to be available probably every time we do a show like that, because we're starting to make good connections with individuals that do that vend. So if you're a vendor, please hit us up. There's still spaces available, right?
Yes. And for everyone that shared our flyer on Instagram, I really appreciate it. We just updated it. We posted it on the gram. Make sure you guys share it again. Let everyone know. We added more names. We added the vendors' names.
And the ticket link is live.
The ticket link is live. It's on Eventbrite.
And then we have RSVP tickets available still.
Right. There's only about 4 to 5 left, guys.
4 to 5.
If there's anyone planning
I guess
to
there's
come
not
out,
any RSVP tickets.
Yeah. We set it at 25 RSVP, so 20 is already let go. There's 5 left, guys.
Go get them. Go get them.
Go
Whoever
get them.
lives in LA.
Shout out to everyone that bypassed the RSVP and paid the $5 advance. It's going to be 10 at the door, so we do encourage everyone to purchase these pre-sale tickets because we need your email.
And also, too, we get information and data on if this event's going to be successful or not. So when you get pre-sale tickets, please don't do what you got to do. If you want to support at the door, there it is. But there's tickets for $5 right now live.
Right. There's no high expectations going into this event. It's 6 weeks out, right? We barely got last minute notice when it comes to the shows that I usually book 3 months, 4 months in advance. But working with a 6 week out show, to be able to reach out to indigenous artists, native artists, and for them to come together so quickly, I've never done that in my life, Zero. Right? So it just goes to show it's a different community. It's a different scene.
Yeah. It's a scene that questions everything, that no longer believes colonial lies. And there's so much evidence to prove it. I recently been thinking about how Columbus crossed the ocean, right? And how you just hammer it down our throat about how he was the only fucking one that crossed the ocean. And that's to me the biggest fucking white supremacist lie in the world. Because if you study history, and I don't talk about like 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, I mean like thousands of years, there's documented proof. The Mexica Tonanmachiot stone proves it. When you get into those depths of level of understanding, that's when you get to break colonial perspective. Because then you'll start to think, wow, fuck, they were the last ones to cross across the ocean. Because if you study Egyptian culture, Sumerian culture, all these other ancient cultures, they all intermingled, right? They all intermingled. And then there's evidence of another hierarchy or superior beings with the elongated heads, right? So just do your research, because whatever was taught to you in this book, in this history book, or whatever you reference as fact, and I'm talking to you, PhD, I'm talking to you, bachelor degree. You know, I'm not dissing you because you have education. Just don't think you're superior because you have it, because there's a longer history that we don't even talk about. And that's the things that I want to highlight at this event. Like, I want to put in time and take these little snippets of things that I feel are important and have the DJs play instrumental music over it while we have visuals on the screen, as we have this unique market where you can buy unique items like, you know, jade necklaces, unique clothing that represents the sovereignty of a human being, right? That's what we say when we're, you know, when you tie your resistance to like a fist in the air, it's not that. For me, it's not that. For me, it's a human being fighting for his own sovereignty, just like the quetzal bird that cannot survive captive. If we revere those birds, there are reasons why we revere those birds. There's not just because they're beautiful and they have this really long feather. No, it's not that. It's that they study every aspect of that animal and then put it on the pedestal that it deserves to represent what you represent. So that's what we're trying to attain here in this night, is to reclaim your own sovereignty. Because on June 25th, in the Battle of Little Bighorn, that's what the elders did. For this night, for this day, we are going to reclaim our sovereignty. And that's what happened.
You know, I'm going to feel like, how can I put it? I'm going to feel the energy from our ancestors that night.
Oh, yeah. There's a purpose. There's a purpose why it's that night.
Right.
And come on, man. I'm not afraid of the way they used to say in Nevada, the kukui, right? And what is the kukui? What is the monster under the boogeyman under the bed? What is it? The truth? What? We're afraid to tell the truth? And it's not going to be a rile them up, let's hate the white man. No, it's going to be facts, historical facts, achievements in cultural design, specifically intended for large masses of people to live together. And even within that, I don't want to glorify this ancient culture as it, you know, there's shit not stinking. Because every society has to deal with its own oppressors. This is a predatory dimension where there's a predator all the time. Death is hunting you every single second. You have to take life that way. And you adapt to it. And you navigate through it using your intention, your health, and your whole being. This is the type of movement that we want to start here in Los Angeles. Underground. You know, not an underground of like drug dealing guys or, you know what I mean? A new mafia. No, this is intelligent people finding a spot to commiserate and share ideas and get inspired by things that a whole team of people are going to try to put together and have it just happen on that night. And then we'll decide when it happens again. But the ticket link is live. you know, $5 tickets, $10 at the door.
Yes,
These are affordable shows. This is a premier venue.
Right.
Usually you pay $25 to get into this venue.
Like I have a show coming up September 3rd, I believe, with Flea Lord and Lord Mob.
Yeah.
That's a $30 show.
There you go.
And then we got Kook Heath coming up October 29th. That's another $30 event.
And then there's a secret event. There's a secret event happening in the background.
I'm using my secret resources as one of the biggest promoters in Los Angeles when it comes to concerts and bringing the indigenous hip hop community with me.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. And you're doing it on June 25th. And you gave us that opportunity at the Catch One. And, you know, my job is to...
And you're the face of the event. You're headlining it. You and Olmeca, Jag, Nug Life, Artson, Frosty, Keese, also Molly, Poca One, Product Pistolas, Sub One, Selassie, DJ Survive. Dude, we got over 25 acts plus more.
I don't know how you're
my goal. Yeah, my goal is to have music from beginning to end.
Yeah,
and we have 2 stages.
Right.
And when we push out this video that we shot, the walkthrough, it's going to be amazing. People are going to actually feel like they're there.
Yeah. And it's all done with the intention and people with like-minded hearts. You see, on June 25th, when they gathered, they had to gather hearts. People that were going to maybe not come back. But they were going to fight because they had to make a point that our lineage is sovereign. Not sovereign from a document or a structural government, but sovereign. You're a wild being thrown into this earth that our ancestors called Tonantzin. It's our job to be as aware and as willing to take on the challenges that we face in everyday life. And that means from getting up in the morning, feeding your children, and going on with your day, and then continuing with your intention with this, which is this podcast for me. My intention is to be myself, share what I know, repeat my prayer over and over to everyone I love. Everyone I love respects the earth, respects the water, respects the fire, respects the wind, and is experiencing life in a humble way. Like the Lakota say, walking in beauty. That's what we're bringing back on June 25th. That's what I'm promoting. I don't know how. Well, I do know how I'm going to do it, and I'm very focused. I'm not taking the role of victim here. I'm being very precise and stepping up to the challenge of what I wanted to share with the audience. I want to share alternative research and even when you present this type of research, you know, and also share these very amazing speeches by these great elders, and Natani Means' dad is one of them. Russell Means, John Trudell. If you want to hear those speeches, if you want to hear Russell Means' speech from the 60s about AIM, if you want to hear John Trudell poetry over hip-hop, instrumental beats, if you want to vibe with somebody on that frequency, June 25th is where it's going to be at the Catch One.
I wouldn't. It's a great networking event, right?
Absolutely.
Because the
not a big venue. It's not very big.
No, the traditional, indigenous events out there are more spaced out, canopies everywhere, vendors everywhere, and it's more, market driven. With this space here, very tight knit. We could fit 300 people. We're gonna have a small outdoor patio where people could smoke and hang out and stuff. But like you said, you can't avoid anyone in there once it's elbow to elbow.
Yeah, it's the perfect venue.
And I love throwing events because I've thrown over 50 events. One thing is in common with all of them is like-minded individuals based on the talent that's there, right? So it just gives you more of a memorable experience.
Well, I know that
this is not just a random hip hop show with random artists and it's 5 at the door. You know, the typical dive bar scene. We're not doing that, Zero.
Dude, 5 at the door for that sound system, that
we are coming out of
ambiance.
pocket with this event. It's strictly a full-blown nonprofit event right here.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're going to make profit because, you know, these type of venues cost a lot of money to do. But that's the problem of what we face sometimes, is that we're not willing to invest in our own selves and invest in the community to share and proliferate this message, the flyer, tell your friends, tell your brothers, tell anybody who you feel don't have a place to express themselves. This is the place where you can meet somebody and say, hey, you know, what do you think about this?
Yes.
You know, what do you think about that? Oh, I know.
Can you imagine the conversations that are going to be sparked that day?
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like a live LA Natives podcast with like everybody there.
Right.
You know?
So when I see a spike in numbers, I just want to remind everyone the tickets are available on Eventbrite. There's only 5 RSVP available. Make sure you guys cop them. Simply add your email. You get the ticket for free. But after that, all the other tickets are going to be $5. And what's $5? Zero. You know, that's less than a drink.
Dude, like you spend more at Starbucks for a drink.
Yeah.
Than getting to be in a room with like-minded people and getting items that are very special and significant to a person's being. You know,
and
like
I think this is
finding
history.
a jade necklace after you found yourself and your culture is like a big deal for me. Like when I found my jade necklace, I was like, what? You know?
And for any vendors out there that sell necklaces, jade necklaces, feel free to hit us up. We would love to have you guys there. We have plenty of room for vendors.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Those type of vendors that come with the medicine, you know, that come with that intention of you're not curing the world. You're just adding to giving tools to people to continue on and being aware that this place is a predatory place, that there's always somebody wanting to, you know, take advantage, abuse, or hurt you. That's not a bad thing, because usually those people aren't very wise. Usually, but some are very wise. It's like you can't describe all the predatory animals in the wild and define them and go, oh yeah, well, there's this place where they don't exist. That's just foolish. And we've been running down that road for so long. This event is counter that. We're breaking colonial perspective in a good way, without being mean to other people and other humans who understand what we're saying. It's okay to point out atrocities. It's okay to find inspiration in ancient cultures that no one was ever going to try to tell. You had to be like in doctorate level classes to even be mentioned that they found this new find, or we're questioning this theory on the Bering Strait theory, because everybody has to fall in line when you're an archaeologist. The minute you start going, then you're becoming a theorist, somebody that doesn't have facts, right? So we have to break the narrative. We have to break colonial perspective in every single aspect of your life, and whatever you can find, throw it out. It doesn't work. You will perpetually be lost. Find yourself by looking in the mirror and understanding who you are. This is the type of information that will be on that night on June 25th. I'm going to put all my heart and soul that it happens to be this message, where you can be free from a mental slavery that was imposed 500 years ago. We should already be done with that. And we are. There's a lot of you out there. Brandon, Bugs. Is it Bugs or Mugs?
Boogs?
Boogs. There you go, Boogs. And all my homies that are playing on that night. Man, I've known Keys for over 20 years almost. Olmeca the same.
He DM'd us and it was like, is there any way I could get on that event, Keys? And I'm just like, absolutely. I'm just so thankful that he reached out.
Man, and I'm gonna ask him to sing some very amazing ceremonial songs, you know, so that you can hear his true voice. His voice is powerful. It's gonna be a great night, and we're gonna call all those elders that stood up for us to remind us that we have sovereignty in this world. That no matter what odds are against us, we can call a day and win because we're connected. After that, yeah, we had our long road. But remember, I've never heard a story where it was easy for us or convenient or that didn't require someone else to be a slave. That's why natives didn't have slaves. You know, I'm not saying that for the record because I don't know all of world history, but I know for a fact it's not something that we could survive. That's why we still live on this land, right? Because they would take us and they put us on a boat, and they try to slave us, and then fucking boom, we jump off the boat. Fuck it. Can't fear death.
Shout out to all of our Instagram followers. Most importantly, our website subscribers. I prioritize them because they're like our hardcore devoted fans, right? But shout out to all of our Instagram followers because like we have about 1,300 followers. When I posted that teaser flyer, it got over 300 shares. You know how when people hit the arrow and share it, over 300 freaking shares. I had to delete it. I felt bad deleting it because now we have an updated flyer, but it was powerful, overwhelming for me to see that ratio of how many followers we have compared to how many shares we got. Easily 30%, 40% ratio.
It's the community. The community is solid. The community is united. And they want to be in a room with like-minded beings. And you know, for the past 2 years, roughly, you couldn't do that. Right.
And I completely forgot to add free giveaways on the flyer. I mean, all-night giveaways. We're going to be giving away LA Natives t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, a few Zero CDs, a few indigenous 1492 items. I'm talking full-blown giveaway, guys.
Yeah.
Just to create this powwow. How do you like the title?
I love it. It's cool. It's
Now, there's history behind this title, right? Remember, Zero, Underground Hip Hop Blog, when we threw our first ever event, who did we headline? We headlined you back in 2012. You and Gavlin.
Right.
If anyone out there knows about Gavlin, hit the comment. Let me know if you heard of her. But anyways, much respect to her, right?
Absolutely.
She's fucking a superstar now.
I love all these underground hip hop artists that made it themselves and took the independent road.
And we called it the Hip Hop Powwow. Why did we call it the Hip Hop Powwow? Because you were headlining it. So we're kind of trying to, you know, mix the two.
Wow. Well, now we have a good start for the reinsertion of that name because now we have a scene. We have people that are aware, people that want to attend, and people that want to help us, you know, make this a successful event.
Right. And I didn't know these keywords, LA Natives, were going to be so powerful. Now we're #1 on Google. When you type in LA Natives, all of our pages pop up. Our podcasts are embedded on Google's pages. Pretty weird, right? So it just gives our audiences easy access to these podcasts. But it's LA Natives Indigenous Hip Hop Powwow.
That's a dope name. LA Natives.
And we're going to move forward with this. There's going to be the second. There's going to be the third annual, the fourth annual. For as long as I could take this.
Let's do it, man. I mean, I think it's a great name. There's a lot of good people behind it. And there's a lot of interest from artists that want to share their message that they don't quite fit in with the mainstream of anything. You know, it's kind of hard to be a octagon and try to fit in a circle or a square.
Yeah.
When you're unique shape, you have a unique message. You know, that's why the ancients used certain symbols because they had certain shapes to it and they represented certain dimensions and certain energies.
Yeah.
Right. That's the ancient wisdom of the past. And I feel like you know, as we move on to this movement as indigenous individuals, as representing indigenous individuals, we have to know that we had intercommunication with, you know, Africa, Asia. I mean, and then if you do more research, you'll realize that it's always been a monarch king rule, even in China, because they had dynasties. So there's a lot of information that we want to share. There's an infinite vault of stuff that we can. I really want them to leave with something, even if they RSVP'd, even if they paid $5. I mean, think about it. In a regular movement, in a regular scene, they're charging you $25 to $20 the first show they throw.
So, Zero, this is very important. What's your response to all of our fans? Shout out to them that are requesting for their kids to show up, newborns to show up, you know, because everyone has to know it's an 18-plus event. Go ahead.
Well, you got to know as a parent, and I'm only speaking for myself because I have 5 children, and I had my children very young, so they're a little older now. And I understand people who just had children and feel like they don't want to break that bond. But this night is for like-minded adults, right, that have vision. And it's okay to be away from your loved one, to strategize how you're going to protect them, right? And this is a way of doing that. Or just outletting energy that you have, because being a parent is a hard job, you know. So take this night for yourself. Take this night as a gift to yourself and your spirit to be around like-minded people who care about their children, right? And it's okay. Have a beer, whatever. I'm not here to judge. We're not here to judge anybody. And there's all levels of knowledge that's going to come to this night. Just like there were all levels of warriors that fought on that battlefield. I'm sure some child was probably his first battle, right? So we have to treat everybody who comes to this event with respect. This is the gathering of hearts, not the gathering of judgments. So don't judge yourself for wanting to take a night and going, hey, I deserve this, and I want to be around my brethren and sistren that believe like I believe, that believe that breaking colonial perspective for the next 7 generations is the utmost priority. Organizing our communities so that we can nourish and build our own reality. That's what you're going to try to find here. You're going to leave with something.
And for all the artists and devoted concert goers that are going to be attending this event, please show up when the doors open, 8 p.m., you know. For the first 5-10 people that walk in, I'm gonna give you guys a free t-shirt. You know, most importantly, I have a great VIP guest list. I'm gonna be inviting all of my influential friends and people that I know that can help this community, right? And best believe Zero has a huge guest list of highly influential individuals that might be showing up, right, Zero?
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone that's going to be on my guest list, I want to be reserved about, like, they're going to got to show up.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, sometimes they're, yeah, just put me on, and they don't show up. But I'm going to reach out to people who really, really deserve it. And I've always asked me, you know, like, hey, can you, you know, whenever you play, let me know. So just, I just know that whoever's going to be there really wants to be there, and is going to do everything to get whoever they feel needs to be there. Because you don't get 300 shares on a teaser flyer with no artist, you know?
Right. Well, we had a few artists. I just didn't anticipate that, you know, from our audience, from our fans. It's just maybe they're dying to come out because of COVID and stuff.
That and it's not the typical night. I mean, we're not sponsored by Modelo or fucking Dos Equis. You know, it's there, but I'm not saying, you know, you can't be in an environment where I don't want to preach to the choir, bro. Like, I don't want to preach to the choir. I want to go. When I played the Conejo show, that was the biggest challenge I ever had because there was a bunch of drunk cholos who had, their own perspective.
Yep.
But I wasn't afraid to be in front of them because they're my brothers. They're my brothers, and they receive my message well. So this environment is for someone that's like-minded, progressive artist, visual artist. That whoever it is, the coolest of the coolest should be here because we are the ones that make social change. Out of these events will come social change or social art that reflects social change. And all we want as global humans, as global indigenous individuals who have been circulating in this energy for thousands and thousands of years is the truth. The truth. That's all we want is the truth. And we deserve the truth. And we'll search and find the truth. Because you know what the truth gives you? Sovereignty. The truth gives you sovereignty. It doesn't give you power over another individual. It doesn't give you a hierarchy over another individual. It just gives you your own sovereignty. I know how to find water. I know how to build a shelter. I know how to find food. I know how to do things for myself. So the more you do for yourself, the more sovereign you are. Decolonize the perspective. Because if you wait for your wife to serve you, that's a colonized version of life. I don't mean to diss you. I'm just saying we need to break every bit of colonized perspective. Decolonizing your perspective is the theme of this show. Using the guidance of our elders who laid their life down at the Battle of Little Bighorn. All of them will be present that night in spirit, through our hearts, through our gathering. That's what you should expect on June 25th at the Catch One. We're going hard, telethon version of it because we're independent promoters. And it's like, did somebody give you a check to throw this show, Armando?
Nope.
There's no check. We got to do this all ourselves, and we're putting a lot on the line. But I believe in our audience that I don't think Armando would have, he knows the audience is there, and it's proven by when we release the flyer and you get so many shares. So keep sharing. We want to see thousands. We want to see a line out the door. We want to see people going, oh, you can't come because you didn't come fast enough. Because that's what it requires when you want social change. You don't want to overthrow governments. We don't want to hurt white people. I don't want to do that. I'm not about that at all. And if you know anybody who's known me, you can talk to Lemon from Quinto Sol. He knows that I've always been that way. I don't treat people just because. I'll call truth out. If you're trying to defend atrocities and genocide, I'm going to call you out. I'll call you out. Not in a rude way, with facts and humility. Man, Geronimo, Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, these individuals try to talk sense into these white people. These colonizers. These fucking people that said, oh, well, here's a fun fact about California, Armando. This is what I'm talking about. You know that in the 1800s, native people or people of dark skin, which means mestizo, which means half Mexican, half Spaniard people, if a white pioneer looking for gold happens to stumble upon where you live and happens to molest your children, kidnap your child, rape your wife, kill your husband, you could not be charged. Indigenous people cannot put charges on people of white skin. No court would hear their case. That's what we're confronting. That's what we're not trying to be kind about. When you have laws that reflect that shit, you're gonna see 100 million little bighorns. It's all about the kids and protecting your children and being sovereign. That's what it's about. And you'll take something home with you.
Shout out to Natani Means for stopping by this last Sunday, man. That was an amazing conversation.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. I really like him. I like that he's youthful. You know, he's not just for some reason I just feel like he's pacing himself, you know, cuz he has a long way to go. He's young and he's very active. And his message is cool.
So Tattoo Therapy says, I believe Black Elk was a child out there at the Battle of Greasy Grass, a.k.a. Custer's Last Stand.
Absolutely. I didn't know that fact, but I'm glad you shared it. You know, that's what I love about our community, man. They do the research. They go and find facts, you know. They go and find these things and they share them with us, and that's the beauty.
You know, I've been digging into YouTube and Google trying to find documentaries and books about that day.
There you go.
Trying to get caught up, man.
Just by me going, hey, let's do it on this day.
Yes.
You know, that's cool. I love it. You know, go do the research. I personally, the best reference for me for that day was a movie called Son of the Morning Star. There was like a four VHS. That's how old it was. It was a 4 VHS series, but I just remember that was in my early stages of recognizing my indigeneity and understanding the atrocities that I have lived through lifetimes, and still keeping a humble heart and still feeling like not everybody's bad, but being as sharp as an eagle, having the sight of an eagle, having the movement of a snake, having the agility of a monkey, having the force of the wind. All that stuff is a part of me. It's a part of you. It's a part of all of us at the LA Natives. So we need to reignite that understanding and energy. So June 25th is when we decided to do that.
I just sent the updated flyer to Maestro and Uncle Matatzin.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully he's down to come through and support and show face. Mm-hmm. It's Callie Marie. Just checked out the flyer. We'll be open arms over here. If you're down to come through.
This is a family night. If you've been on the show, if you man, Taboo.
For all of our for all of our alumni, you know, we have a VIP green room, 2 of them, by the way, that we are going to close off, just for, you know, just for the artists to relax, because it takes a toll on an artist to perform on a big stage like that. Yeah. You know, artists sometimes need to, you know.
I always appreciated when there was a green room, because I've done all shows. I've done shows where there's no green room. I've done shows where there's very nice green rooms.
Right.
But I could feel I just want to put my contribution to this night. You know, you are the professional on how to deal with the setup of that, and I trust you 100%. And that's what it's like to be in a community.
Do you want wired mics or wireless mics?
Either or, doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I think wireless.
I deal with so many headliners that demand wireless mics.
It's because they don't like tripping over the cord. And all that. To be honest with you, I think wired mics give better sound.
Right. And it's to the point where if it's on contract as wired mics, they show up to the event and it's not wired. And if they're not wireless, they won't do the show.
That's, you know, that's a part of what we're fighting here in this night. That's a part of what we're fighting. The audacity, the arrogance to say that. Right? All the fucking people that went and have to fucking wash dishes, take out trash, fucking pay a babysitter, and you're throwing a fucking hissy fit because because it's wired? That's what we're fighting.
Right. And it's always the true artists.
That's what we're fighting.
Like in Mortal Technique. I remember one time I went to a Mortal Technique event and I guess they couldn't get wireless mics.
Oh shit, he's one of them?
But he didn't complain.
Good. There you go.
He was like, well, just give me the wired mics.
Exactly.
But there's other artists that would just make a whole hissy fit.
No, I understand. No, you know? And I'm talking about like pop mainstream artists. I don't know if any cultural artists do that. I know I don't do that. I'm giving whatever. You give me a fucking megaphone and I'll do it. Because I love my people and I love my message. I'm confident in my message. That's all. I mean, fucking do it a cappella. You know, with nothing. No beat, no stage. It's not about fucking wireless mics and mics or whatever. If you have that complaint, please be humble about this show. We're going to provide the best equipment available. Right, Armando?
That's my job.
Right?
As a promoter, right? I
just know that night, if there is wireless mics, it's going to be the best wireless mics available.
Being a part of the LA underground hip hop scene, I do hold myself accountable a lot when it comes to providing events for the fans. A lot of artists ask me, hey man, like, you know, do this for me, do that for me. I tell them, hey, look, dude, my job is for the concert goers. I don't work for the individual artists. I provide them the platform and the stage, but my priority on all my energy goes towards the concert goer, the ticket buyer.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference between a good promoter and a bad promoter.
Yeah, and if you focus on that, then, you know, that's what we're talking about in the LA Native show. So hopefully, you know, we try to accommodate everybody's needs. Yes. You know, wireless mics are fun because you can go push into the crowd a little bit more. You have to be conscious on where you're stepping, or you have to see if your cord is long enough. I mean, there's a lot of prep to doing a performance, you know? But I learned from the masters, bro. When I was backstage looking at KRS-One perform, and he was at a fucking self-help graphics show with some sound guy who just had to do everything, and he wasn't going, where's my wireless mic? He wasn't saying that shit. He was saying, where's my fucking mic? Oh, the mic's not on yet? Fuck it, let me try like this, you know? And dude, the dude was fucking amazing. That's the lineage I want to be from, you know? Where everything goes towards what you just said, the concert goer. I learned that in Mexico because that's all they have. They don't have a new car. They don't have a vacation. They have that one concert where that one song that they fucking like, and he's here. That's the way I felt. That's the way they received us when we went to Mexico City and toured. We played this little dive bar club. It was 25 people there. 25 people. But those 25 people were tripping that we were there. They were fucking just tripping that we were there. They were like, we can't believe you were here. We cannot believe you are here. And I'm like tripping on them going, how did you even hear our music? And there was this one tattoo dude, Donatu, who lived in TJ and took a Jaguar Prophecy CD to Mexico City, to this little colonia there. And that all the kids started getting into it. And those were the 25 people that showed up at Mexico City, tripping on us, going, damn, we never thought you would come to Mexico City.
Wow.
And I said, why? Go, dude, this is where our message started. You guys are our people, our brothers. You know? Man, and they were singing our lyrics in English. That blew my mind away. You know? They knew the lyrics to Heavy is the Load. And they were just like, you know, and I was like, what? This is a trip, man. And it was only 25 cats, bro. I love all certain situations, you know, and they didn't have wireless mics there. You know, it's just take the experience for what it is. Know that people are putting a lot of energy into making that night memorable for you, unforgettable for you. That's what we want. That's what we're doing on June 25th at the Catch One.
Yeah, and this
Zero, Olmeca, Jaguar from Cosmic Force, Azomatli. Did Azomatli confirm?
Yes.
Azomatli. I mean, this night is gonna be hostile. Hostile.
And there's a dope female indigenous hip hop artist by the name of Polka One.
Polka One.
Yeah, she's dope. I can't wait till she rocks. And then we have Royal Roots. And then we have Selassie performing.
Yeah, I want to hear his set.
Yeah,
because he's from the Bay.
Yeah,
and he had a good mind and a good heart, and he's seeking what everybody else is seeking, and that's what I love about this event is that it's a global indigenous event. It's an event that is welcoming everyone who's just tired of colonial perspective, where women are less than you, where the job is to find someone to take advantage of, where you treat people of color less than you. We're done with that version of life. We're done with it. Are you done with it?
I'm done with it.
I'm done with handling and giving respect to people who are smart and humble and caring and empathetic and are generous. That's the world I want to live in. And that world can exist. And it won't exist without its challenges, but it can exist. It's just that people have to want it. And that's what we're trying to inspire here on this night. Wanting the loving of a loving family, you know? Like my Jaguar prophecies fucking, and to replace where there is no race, just community and ritual and love eternal. There is no money, there are no bills, just mountain peaks where creator speaks. Food for everyone, clothes for everyone, ceremonies for the sun. Watch our kids run as they laugh and play, and give thanks and praises for the night and for the day. This is where I stay. Truth rules my world. There are no lies, no tattooed teared eyes or premature goodbyes. Families stay together, exchange precious feathers. No jealousy, no envy. Everyone's friendly, a true family, loving one another. My sister, my brother, my father, my mother, comfort each other. As times get harder, the warmth of the fire, I write to inspire.
Guys, you guys cannot miss this event. This is Zero's headlining event. Have you ever headlined a solo show
Not at this type of stage, no.
Okay.
Well, actually, when I went to Mexico City, I played the Zocalo by myself, but I don't consider that a solo show. I consider this a movement, a community. This show is inspired by our podcast.
Yes.
And the people that support our podcast and they have bought a shirt on our website, and the ones that have, you know, given generously to an uncle who in need, like Masatzin.
Yes.
Right? Bringing information to our community. This is that night. This is that night. You know? This is that night.
If there's anyone in the chat that already copped a ticket, let us know.
The tickets are live.
Let us know
the tickets
what
are
time
live.
you're going to arrive. Doors open at 8 p.m. and it ends at 1 a.m.
You know what I wanted
We're
to
going to have music from beginning to end.
You know what I wanted to ask the chat?
There's no hierarchy here.
Absolutely not. Why? There's no need for that. We don't have colonial perspective. If we had colonial perspective, then there would be hierarchies, but there is not that. This is not a capitalist event. This is not a socialist event. This is not a nothing event. This is a gathering of hearts. This is a gathering of a community that loves each other and is willing to put anything and do anything creative to change their environment.
Have you ever heard of Insane Clown Posse?
Yes.
Okay. Every year they have a show called The Gathering of the Juggalos.
Oh, yeah. I seen a movie that kind of revolved around that. Yeah.
So they have the Juggalos and then the Juggalettes, females. And those fans are hardcore. Yeah. They date each other. What? They get married with one another. They paint their faces like ICP.
Nice.
You know?
Sweet.
That's the type of an event I'm trying to create for this indigenous hip hop scene on that level. Because they're always booking dope venues like Belasco's, the Regent, the Mayan.
Wow. The Mayan?
Yeah.
That would be dope to perform at.
You know? Yeah. So if they could draw 2,000 people of like-minded individuals because they're all obsessed with Insane Clown Posse, you know, why can't the indigenous hip-hop community come together like that?
I think it can. I think it can. And it has, because look, the vision is not just this show, okay? In our perspective, not the colonial perspective, but our perspective, there are levels and regions, right? And they all exist at the same time. We are on a massive amount of land. Breaking colonial perspective is throwing away the Bible, throwing away the history book, throwing away the PhD, throwing away the master's degree, because they all come from a person that wrote on a piece of paper, gave that document to someone, and that spawned education and books, right? So I just discredit everything of it. Even though I read them, even though I reference them, I don't trust anyone but my own sovereign opinion, because I have to digest the information. So that's the type of thinking we want to spark and inspire. You know, we have to challenge this narrative. We have to, in a good way, with intelligence, with creativity, with love and heart. That's the movement. Breaking colonial perspective. June 25th at the Catch One.
Shout out to Jay Mara. He says, we're going to be driving down to LA from the Bay. Looking forward to it, relatives. Well, Jay, make sure you say hi to me. My name's Armando. Make sure you say what up to Zero, man. We're here for our audience, for our podcast listeners, man. Any questions you guys have, you guys want to hang out, you guys want to smoke me out, I got you.
You know what? It's when someone leaves a comment like we're driving from a certain area, you know, and it's that, you know, it's the Bay Area is far. It's 400 miles.
And I've been to those journeys because I'm dying to go to that event, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've been to festivals in Vegas.
I just want to not disappoint them. I want to fucking do all I have to do.
I drove all the way to Oregon one time to go to a festival because I wanted to go.
Yeah. That's fun. I guess it's fun. You know, I've always been a parent.
And that experience you can never take away, man. Right. Driving from the Bay, coming to LA, great city, going to the Catch One, checking out some of the dopest West Coast indigenous hip hop artists you could see. Like, I'm also going to try to work on another event for the next day on Saturday. Yes.
Because hopefully by then Malinali will be running.
Okay.
And then we'll do like a plant-based market.
Yes.
You know, and have those same vendors kind of come out and do their thing there too.
Yep.
And that way we keep the vibe moving. It's like it's not just gonna start and finish with June 25th. We're not gonna start because you're already talking to Superman. I mean, there's some things that are happening that are huge.
Yep.
In my opinion, and we're all building up to the 2022 festival in Los Angeles.
Yes.
That's the big vision. You know, so all of you community out there, it's our time. It's our time. And it's my time to be focused and wise and provide the environment that you deserve. If you're going to drive 300 miles, I have to do my best to make that an unforgettable night. At least my contribution will be that with my performance, with setting up the visuals and doing all that. So also too, we want to shout out to our community. If you are a visual artist and you would like to help us with the visuals of that night, please DM us or, you know, DM me. And
if there's any DJs out there that's been dope,
instrumental hip hop or instrumental music,
reach out to us.
Reach out, because the narrative is really what we're going to pull from documentaries, right? And what we're pulling from documentaries is not going to be violent towards any human. We may point out violence from another, you know, other people that are doing that. We'll point it out, but it's not about, you know, pointing a finger at somebody. We already know where it comes from. There's enough talk about it. You know, if you can't go that far and are not brave enough to question that reality, you know, trying to be nice to rapists and liars and traffickers and, you know, people like that, that's not cool to be that. It's not cool ever to be that. You know, that's like a pirate mentality. You don't even know that you're affected by pirates because of the admiralty laws that happen and govern the ocean. There's some laws that we need to know and we need to be digging hard. And that's this movement, you know, a very exclusive group of individuals.
Group of individuals that actually take action.
Yeah. And by taking action is reserving your ticket, showing up, supporting. That's it. That's all. Let us provide the venue. And then, hey, if you happen to meet someone and you decide to organize some kids to do a camp thing, or this is a time where we put our creativity to work and stop relying on lazy, colonized versions of help.
Now, look, when I was growing up in my teenage years, I was obsessed with indigenous hip hop, and there wasn't a lot of outlets I could go to for that. So when I would stumble upon an indigenous hip hop show, right, for some weird reason, it would always be at a dive bar, at a cultural center, at a community college or university,
or park
or church, right?
Yeah.
So imagine
no one's dissing those either.
No, and nothing against that, right? But I was the type of hip hop fan that was like, hey man, how come these cats can't be performing with those other guys?
Right.
That are performing at that time, Whiskey at the Go-Go.
Yeah.
What's the other one that's over there? The Roxy.
The Roxy.
I used to go over there when I was 18.
And then there was the Key Club. I don't know if you've ever been to the Key Club. I played with the RZA at the Key Club. I think those are the three main venues that kind of carry the weight that the Regent or the Catch One has.
Right.
You know.
I remember one of my last Vuh shows. I've seen you guys. You guys were like at UCLA. And I thought it was weird. You know, it was my first time ever going into a college to see a hip hop show. But it made sense.
Yeah.
Because you guys have a message.
That, and then they're the only
sound
ones,
was fucking shitty, by the way.
Yeah, but they're the only ones that paid us.
Yeah.
You know, no one was promoting that type of message until now, until the hip hop blog, you know, underground hip hop blog put its money where its mouth is and said, hey, I'm going to invest time in this artist named Zero. And he has some cool things that he would like to do with my help. I think I can do them. And that's what happened. And that's what we're doing. And it's all, like you said, there's no real big expectations that we have for this night. I just know that there's a lot of progressive thinkers, artists, visual artists, musicians, vendors that deserve a premium night at a reasonable price. $5? Come on. What show is $5? Tell me a $5 show. I haven't heard of one. You know? Even the activist organization shows are $10. You know, even though we're charging you $10 at the door, that's because you're not taking the time to give us your information so that we can tell you when the next one is. Because that's what we really want to build. A cult following, what they call a cult following. But that's really just individuals that are like-minded. Now, they could be like-minded about stupid shit that hurts them, but this is not that movement.
Right. And in the promotion game, especially with fans, sometimes the value of the show equates to the talent, right? Sometimes you see a measly little hip hop show that you ask for $5 at the door, and there's no real big headliner. No one's really buzzing, so it's equivalent, right? It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Low price, low talent,
low venue, low sound system, low mics, low.
You get what you pay for. But this event for $5, you're getting so much medicine.
Yeah.
You're being exposed to so many talented artists.
And a professional's handling the sound. Someone's there at the mixer going, hey, don't worry, is your mic not on? Okay, let me get it. That's such a pressure for an artist to have to worry about the sound, because no one wants to sound shitty, you know? So that also adds to the vibration and frequency that you get to receive when you go to the show, right? Imagine the frequency, like if you can't play the music loud enough, you know, or your mic keeps feeding back because you're too close to the speaker for some reason or whatever. That person that night handles all of that, and you never hear it. All you hear is premium performance. It's like looking at a painting live. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like looking at a Banksy live, like boom, right in front of it. You know, that's the type of environment we want to, and that everyone in that room is that person. Oh yeah, you came to that one. Oh cool. Oh, you listened to that episode. Cool. Oh, you have that idea. Cool. Hey, have you heard of this idea? Cool. Have you researched in this documentary or read this book or whatever? This is the family gathering. This is it. This time,
and if there's anyone out there that's been planning on,
they ain't gunning us down.
Yeah, if there's anyone out there that's been planning on networking with us, this is your opportunity. I got so many rappers that want to meet me, that want to do business with me. Well, look.
Show up.
I'm going to show face June 25th.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You guys want to find me? You guys want to, hound me for promo? Well, that's where I'm going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This show is for everybody.
Yeah.
Any type of hip hop artist, any type of indigenous artist, By the way, we are looking for someone to cover the event for any up and coming cinematographers, filmmakers,
Podcast,
event recappers. Like, email us, DM us. We definitely want to work.
Also, too, any visual artists that think they could contribute to the night.
Yes. Now, what do you mean about visual artists? Because we were talking about Low End Theory, and I've been there.
Yeah.
And I saw what those visuals were all about.
Yeah,
there was
dope
visuals
ones.
on the walls.
Yeah.
People brought in their projectors. It was just
That's a visual
amazing-
artist,
right?
That's a visual artist.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, someone that can look and scan the room and go, "Oh wow, I could create this ambiance."
Yeah.
You know, this is the same theme that we can work on this theme.
So do they use like a moving projector? They do, right? So it's like a.
It depends. It depends on what their art is, because it could be a reel of something going on in the screen, while on this side they're just projecting lights towards a mural of whatever. That's a part of visual art. It doesn't have to keep moving. Although if you do have 3 projectors, the visual art escalates.
Yeah.
Because you're walking into each room. I know that when I've went to visual art / concert things, they were dope, because if you walked into one room, it was visual, like, oh wow, what is that on the wall? And then you go into the music room, and then boom, there's other visuals, but those are more for performances. And you're like, whoa, it's just stimulating every aspect of your body, So that's the idea. Hopefully we could pull it off, and I'm gonna work my ass off if people are driving 300 miles to come and experience that. I don't care if they're the only 8 people there.
And you're not the only one, J Mara. I heard there's gonna be cats driving from Vegas.
Okay.
Coming out to the event. I got a couple people hitting me up coming from San Diego, coming to the event, and that means a lot, man.
It's a gathering
Definitely
of the
means
nations,
a lot, man.
bro.
When you're driving over 200-300 miles to come to our event, best believe I'm gonna be on my A game.
It's a gathering of the hostile West Coast natives. We're gathering ourselves to meet each other, say hi, and learn about each other, because each other's talent will add to your talent or your idea or your education. The point is that when you come and when you leave that night, you leave with something: inspiration, a necklace, a shirt, a good friend, someone you just met. Kind of like, I guess it is almost exactly like you're describing the Insane Clown Posse movement, But ours is not going to revolve around alcohol and dysfunction, although that's not, at least I seen in the movie, that's what it was. But, people have a good time, and they have a right to have a good time in any way, and they have a right to make that world a reality. I just don't want to focus on that. I don't want to focus on dysfunction. I want to focus on clarity. I want to focus on truth. I want to focus on health. I want to focus on my brothers in my community and being so happy that they came to support us and hear my new track, right? Global Pandemic. Mask required. I'm working on the art right now as we speak. I have to go after this. I'm going to be mixing the final song and getting my instrumental. But Global Pandemic, I don't like to release things while things are happening. And it's like, I'm not a news network, but I have an opinion about what happened, and it's still not over. You know what I mean? This shit's still not over, because now they're going to let loose the reins, but then ask you for something all on the under. Like my son was talking to me about, him going back to USF, UC San Francisco. Oh, I don't know, Dad, but they're kind of making the vaccine required. I was like, well, why would you? No, you got to. Of course, they're going to tell you that, but you have to be able to be sovereign and fight for your rights and know what's right. And to me, it's evasive. It's evasive. It's comparable to rape. When you're shoving a needle in somebody's arm, you're penetrating the human, just like the rapist came and penetrated our women. It's not okay if you do not want it. I'm just talking about someone who does not want it. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm not saying whether you should take it or whether you shouldn't take it. But fuck, if you're going to try to put a needle in my arm, That's equivalent to rape. And if you're thinking, oh, wow, I have a dilemma. If I can't go to work, think about it. Think about it very hard. I'm not saying that it's bad or it's anything. I don't have an opinion on it. But what I do have an opinion on is that someone forcefully manipulating me or actually grabbing my arm and making me take it. That's equivalent in my eyes, in my opinion. And I don't mean to belittle women's experience. I don't mean that. I use that as a metaphor, as shocking value. So, yeah, anyways, you ranting.
Let's check this out.
Give you a little preview.
There's a little
what we're trying to plan
preview, giving everyone a sneak peek before we post this on Instagram.
Right here on the side, this wall, come in. It'll be the first door to the right, which is the tavern room. As we walk into the tavern room, you're gonna have your beverage bar here. And in this room, this is the market room. And we're gonna have our vendors here. So obviously you know we're at the Catch One nightclub, right? And so the market room will have a small stage, DJ, and an open mic or performers that I think we're lining up. We haven't decided, depending on the demand of the vendors, whether that's going to be a green room or another vendor space. So it's up to you, vendors, if you want to be a part of LA Natives in history on June 25th.
Yo, that's a great side room for our second stage, right?
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
I love that green room area or that additional space that they have up those stairs.
Yeah.
And this is just the first room, guys.
Yeah. This is exactly, it has like, it's crazy. It's divided into two, into the, Ometeo, right? The dual spirit. After you hit the market room, you're going to walk into the main venue, which is what we're going to call the ceremony room. And this is where the main stage is going to be at. As you can see, it's premium sound. This place is going to be louder than anything in Los Angeles. We have visuals for the stage, which will be looping throughout the night. But we need your support to fill this room. As you can see, it's not a very big room, but we need to make history here in Los Angeles. We need to make people know that we're still here, LA Natives. We'll see you June 25th.
There it is, guys.
There it is. Little preview.
That's a dope little walkthrough right there.
Yeah, it's gonna look nothing like that once we're done with it.
Jag of Cosmic Force has some hard hitting beats, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna sound dope.
Like,
he gets his stuff mastered. That's what I like about him. When I look at an artist, I look at the development. If he's putting all the emphasis in his art, or is he taking his art and flattening it out and going, there's other aspects of this art, right? The engineering part, the mastering of the song. I'm sure there's a road that Jag went through, and I love to see his development. I love his IG page. I love his movement of being sober. That's a dope movement, Yeah, it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a lot of great people there. So go to the website. Go to the website. The ticket link is live on the website, correct, Armando?
yes, just visit lanativespodcast.com. Scroll down, a couple inches, and you'll be able to see an area there where you can just purchase directly from the website.
Right, and they're $5 on the website on Eventbrite.
There's only a few free RSVP left. Make sure you guys cop those.
But the show costs $5, right? Online. And then at the door, it's 10.
Yes.
Okay. There, it's very clear.
But it's like, for me, I'm going to contribute $10 out of my own pocket to the event. That's how important this event is for me, because it's basically about the overall cause and the message that LA Natives Podcast brings to the community. And this show is only going to motivate us to continue this podcast, to continue to do more events.
The way we should think about donating or giving money to this event is, if we're going to have a powwow, you're going to need tables. You're going to need chairs. You're going to need an arbor. You're going to need a stage. You're going to need a microphone. You're going to need all these elements to it. And so we're not asking you to bring the chairs and bring the mics. We're just going, hey, here's my $10 for the people who did do that. Right? And dude, $10 is not a lot of money. $10 is not a lot of money. I spend $10 on a sandwich, on a vegetarian sandwich.
And that's at the door. It's 5 pre-sale advance.
5 at the link is live, bros. And then we should at least see
guys,
100, 200 people already buying $5 tickets.
We have one of the dopest producers in the native community, man, Nug Life.
Nug Life.
Can you imagine?
It's going to be such a ocean of vibe. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to sway to this way and it's going to get intensified and it's going to calm itself down. I'm talking about all the artists, all the DJs, all the whole environment, the people that are going to show up. Man, you need to share this event. Please share this event. We appreciate you. Those that already have shared this event, which are over 200 or 300 people, I'm only humbled, man, to come out and do this. I haven't even announced that I'm releasing a new song.
I know about 6 to 7 fans that are going to be flying to this event. That means a lot to me.
What?
Yes, flying to this event because they're from a different state. And I guess tickets right now are really dirt cheap because of the whole bullshit going on.
Well, cool. Hey, the more the merrier. The more outsiders. Not the outsiders, but the more family comes, the better. It's gonna be a very beautiful night because we have a lot of good intentions as a collective.
And this is
Indigenous Hip Hop Powwow, June 25th.
And I'm so honored to contribute and be a part of. It's kind of like your rebranding.
Yeah.
Right, Zero?
Well, yeah, because I don't have the same perspective. I'm just hammer off all my lyrics about Mayan or, I kind of took a poetic road, and I needed to rebrand something, and so Zero. That's what it is. It's not really rebranding anything, actually, because I used to make the beats and engineer. It was all a vision that we collectively had and that I was able to do. So now it's cool to be helped.
We've been getting a lot of new eyeballs looking at us, looking at you from the International Indigenous Hip Hop Award Show.
Yeah.
Right? That was amazing.
That was cool.
You performed live and we did the VIP red carpet interviews, right?
And I performed Global Pandemic on there.
Yes. For anyone that caught that.
Yeah.
That's
the new track that I'll be promoting. I haven't really put any emphasis in it, but I am releasing new art. It will be played that night. Hopefully it will be up and available for Spotify and all that stuff on that night.
So I know we're going to have LA Natives podcast t-shirts, hoodies. We're going to have some Zero mixtape CDs, some El Vuh CDs.
T-shirts.
We're going to have some El Vuh t-shirts, Zero t-shirts. And most importantly, guys, an exclusive release we're going to have for Global Pandemic, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm working on the cover art for it, which will be the shirt.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be limited.
Yeah.
Because it's just art statements. I'm not CNN. I'm not any research I do is because I want my community to be well educated. One of the things that Zapata and Pancho Villa would say is that our community isn't educated. They don't know how to read, and not that they know how to read. They just need to be trucha enough to say, hey, that's not right. I don't think that it's cool to take advantage of me or my children ever. I don't care if you're a fucking teacher, a judge, a cop. I don't care, man. We have to be sovereign beings. And that's the message that we're trying to share with you so that we can stand up as men and know how to treat other men without violence and humility or humiliating them by being humble, in a very, very different way than our ancestors. Because you got to understand that in the Mexica calendar, the prophecy of the 500 years of darkness, that was there and it was evident. But like Mazatzin said, there was There was always a candle. There was always an uncle. There was always somebody reminding you where you come from. You know, where you come from. We come from time. We come from strict documenting time. You know, so it's time to use that.
And shout out to all the queens that are going to be coming out to the event.
Absolutely. You know, I kind of refer to them as life givers, you know, because queens come from monarchs. And I don't mean to diss you or anything like that. I just want to be clear. These people, these individuals, these women, they're extraordinary beings. They're so delicate yet so strong. Yeah, they're going to be present. You know what the women did at the Battle of Little Bighorn after everybody was dead? The women went with knives and started poking the ears of the soldiers. That's how they were thoughtful in that way. Because they said, we're poking a hole in your ear so you can hear better in the next life. When we tell you something, this is what's going to happen.
That's nuts.
So you can hear better in the next life. So women are powerful, and I know they're going to be there. But I don't want to refer to them as queens because queens are arrogant and rule and own people. And we're breaking colonial perspective. Women are powerful. Women are strong. And they're very complex. But they're the only ones that can have children who can multiply a person. So we have to show humility. Yes. And I'm glad they'll be there.
And my queen's going to be working the door with...
right on. Nora.
Yep. Shout out to Nora.
Jenny will be there. Jenny will be there. So all Jenny's fans, she'll be there. You know, Jenny has so many fans, man.
Wow.
Yeah, really. And you know what's weird? Like yesterday, this one of our friends, she had a baby, and Jenny helped her have that baby, right? And that baby's just looking at me, like looking for Jenny. Because she saw my face, she associates it with Jenny, right? And so I'm all, Jenny's not here, man. That little girl was like tripping. Anyway, shout out to Jenny. She'll be there. Catch one, bro.
And this
June
is a
25th.
challenge for all of us. You know, like I said, we got last minute notice that the date was available 6 weeks out, right? I usually don't book events unless I have 3-4 months promo, you know? But thanks to the niche audience that we've been able to curate and our devoted listeners and Instagram followers, you guys made it happen for us.
Yeah.
We've been able to just leap
community.
a month or 2 months of promo.
It's a community. It's a community, man. And it's really our job to, you know, praise that community, encourage that community to continue to share this message this night. You know, it's not easy to put on events like this. Sometimes they're disheartening, you know, when you put all this energy to it and no one shows. I don't feel that that's what's going to happen with us because we're asking for warriors to come up. We're asking for people that want to change something about their environment. And even if that's their own bad habits, you know, looking in the mirror with love, not with judgment, but with love, with kindness, with empathy, with intelligence. That's the movement. The movement and the resurgence of our indigenous past, using all global knowledge to defeat liars, land thieves. We have to challenge this narrative. We have to, for our children. And you know what, colonizer? I know how violent you are. I know how you'll threaten or you'll feel threatened by this movement. And you should be. But remember, we're humble. We come from a beautiful place that's chaotic, that's predatorial, that's supposed to challenge our life. That's the perspective we're bringing back. We'll see you Sunday. We'll see you June 25th. Get your tickets. Tickets are live. LANativespodcast.com. A whole Ometeo, Tonantzin, Tonatu, Tlazocamatli,